I believe in scripts, but I also believe in being authentic. There are team members that use the script that have a different delivery. There are team members that use the script that have success, but there are team members that use the script and they have zero success. Same script, different results. Why? Because the prospect is not really listening to your words, they're kind of listening to you.
We the 3%ers. Yeah. We the 3%ers. Yeah. You gotta know what your word. Don't need more than just words. We don't just talk it, we live it. You want it, go get it and put in that word. We the 3.
Hoorah! And welcome to another episode of 3% Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Steve Wilmer. This podcast is not for the faint of heart. It is not a therapy session. Get to work or get off my podcast. Starting off today, as we always do, we want to give a shout out and we want to recognize those team members out there who are implementing, who are executing, who are taking the training, using it to be able to help the people in their community and writing a lot of life insurance. Today, we are recognizing Kelly. Kelly at Charlotte Potts Agency. And here's what Kelly said. 16 life apps in the month of July. Just over $47,000 in annual premium. Kelly, you are the bomb, girl. You're killing it. Make sure you keep up the good work. We appreciate you so much. So listen, guys. If you have a testimonial, if you're using a training, if you're helping people, please make sure that you comment, reach out to me, let me know. I'd love to be able to feature you as well in the next episode. So let's not waste any time. Let's dive into it. Today's episode, I'm going to be talking about your script. Remember this. Professionals use scripts. Amateurs wing it. So you may be thinking to yourself, Steve, I've got the script. I'm using the script, but it's still not working. So what's the problem if I have the script? The script is not the problem. Your delivery is the problem. I'm training team members and I see them, I hear them using the script and I'm like, you're not sounding right. You're using the script, but you sound like you're using a script. So here is the issue. I believe in scripts, but I also believe in being authentic. See, a lot of people will say, I don't like scripts. I don't like to use scripts. You should use a script. You take the script, you make it yours. I'm going to give you an example. We all have a favorite movie, don't we? We all have a favorite actor that we love to watch them when we go to the movies, and they make it real. They make it come alive. As a matter of fact, my kids just last night and went to saw a movie that just came out called The Odyssey. I believe it's Matt Damon, if I'm not mistaken. It's 3.5 hour movie. They came back lit. That's their word. They came back. They said, Dad, the movie was lit. The movie was fire. I said, does that mean it was good? So, but here's the thing. You know it's a script, right? You know somebody took that paper, somebody wrote down exactly for them to say on the paper. They made it a production. It wasn't real. It was a script. It's no difference in the insurance industry. You take the script, you make it come alive. You give it your personality. You give it your production. So for anybody out there that says, I don't believe in scripts, you're fooling yourself. Matter of fact, if you're in my training, don't listen to anyone that says don't use a script. Take the script, make it yours, so that way you're not fumbling around on what to say. I didn't get to be a 3%er in life insurance sales without using a script. I have a script. I teach scripts, use the script. So again, that's not the problem. Your delivery of the script is the problem. There are team members that use the script that have a different delivery. There are team members that use the script that have success, but there are team members that use the script and they have zero success. Same script, different results. Why? Because the prospect is not really listening to your words. They're kind of listening to you. How are you delivering the script? Body language, silence, pauses, sitting back, leaning forward. Customers normally will mirror what it is that you do. So let's make sure that we're going to focus on that today, your delivery. All right, so here's the first problem. I want you to stop really reading and start believing. I know team members that have a script, use a script, but they really don't believe in it. We have a boot camp, a life insurance boot camp we do every single month. The class always fills up. If you want to put a team member in the life boot camp, please let me know. But here's the key. I have to meet with the team member first because I met with an agent, a couple of agents, as a matter of fact. They wanted to put somebody in the boot camp. And after talking to the person, they're like, I don't really know if I want to do this. I don't really know if I believe in life insurance. That person is always going to struggle to write life insurance if they don't change their beliefs. I have met with team members who are struggling to write life insurance. And when I get to the root cause of it, it's because they personally don't believe in the life insurance. I could give you a script that I know that works, but if you don't believe in what you're saying, if you don't believe in what you're doing, it's not going to work. So, first thing is this. You got to stop reading. You got to start believing. I can tell within 5 minutes of a telemarketer calling me if they truly believe in what they're selling or if they're just reading the script trying to sell me something and get a commission. It's no different. When you're speaking with the customer, they can tell if you truly believe in what you are saying, if you truly believe in what you're talking about. So remember, you got to believe first, because when you believe, the words come alive. You need to learn the script so well it becomes a part of who you are. Practice until it sounds like a conversation, not a script. I'll be role playing and scrimmaging with team members, and they're like, oh my goodness, Steve, that sounded so good. How did you do that? And I say, it's the same script that I gave you. But once again, I know how to deliver the script. I believe in life insurance. So when I speak with the customer and I use the script, it sounds like a conversation. It doesn't sound like I'm reading something. Here's the second reason that your delivery is not working. Confidence is more persuasive than perfect words. I'll say it again. Confidence is more persuasive than perfect words. Once again, team members overthink things. They overthink it. Oh my goodness, my words have to be perfect. My words are not perfect. There are a lot of times that I'll do these podcasts, I'll mess up and I have to tell the editor, leave that in there. I want the people to see that. I want them to see that Steve Wilmer is not perfect. I want them to see that I still make mistakes. Blah, 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 blah. I still fumble over my words sometimes, but it doesn't matter. Why? Because I'm confident. I mean, obviously, editors, you want to leave that part in there, right? I'm confident. I'm not perfect. Perfection is the enemy of profitability. Too many of team members are trying to move forward in life sales, but they can't move forward because they're worried about being perfect. They're worried about not making a mistake. And when you're not worried, and when you are worried about making a mistake, you come across phony. You don't come across authentic. So forget the perfect words. Remember, you have to be bad before you can be good. Every master was a disaster. I'm going to say that over and over again because you can't look at me, a 3%er, and think I've always been this way. No. I told you the first 2 years I was terrible. I struggled to write life insurance like a lot of team members do, but I had to get to the point where I was able to build my confidence. So how do you build confidence? Through consistency. Write this down. Consistency comes before confidence. Every time we do something for the first time, no matter what it is, none of us are confident. All of us are nervous. All of us are sweating our doggone butts off. We're scared. But the more you do it, the better you become. So start being more confident with the activity. Start being more confident in your script, how you deliver the script, and stop freaking worrying about being so perfect with it. If you sound uncertain, your customer becomes uncertain. If you hesitate, they hesitate. Anybody wants to deal with a professional, they want to make sure the professional knows exactly what they're talking about. They don't want any hesitations. They don't want any doubt. If you went to the doctor and told the doctor what was wrong with you, and the doctor was like, oh, I don't know, let's kind of see, I think so, we'll try to figure it out, we'll make do, you would get your butt out of that office so quickly. You want somebody who's confident. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what's going to happen. Here's what you're going to have. Here's what your family is going to have. Here's what you're going to receive. You want somebody who is confident. So when you're speaking with the customer, remember, you are the expert. Your customer is the expert in whatever it is they do for a living. But when it comes to insurance, You are the expert. You are the risk manager. You are the trusted advisor. So doggone it, how about we start like acting like it? Doesn't matter if you're brand new. You still got your license. You still got hired. Your agent wouldn't have hired you. Well, hopefully he or she wouldn't have hired you. They wouldn't have hired you if they didn't think you could do the job. So now you just got to start acting like you can do the job. Remember, people buy confidence before they buy products. You got to slow down. You must slow down. If you talk too fast, some customers may feel like you're trying to pull one over on them, like you're trying to get over one. And sometimes you can become confusing. Now, I know I have to work on that because I'm a talker. So if I'm not careful, I'll end up talking and talking and talking. And if you're not careful, you can end up talking yourself out of a sale. So when you're talking with a customer, slow down, take it easy, answer their questions, ask more questions, ask personal questions versus policy questions. Remember, policy questions only give information. Is it temporary or is it a permanent policy? Can you take that policy with you? How much is that policy going to pay? No, ask personal questions. Who do you think knows what's best for your family? Would it be important to pay off the mortgage? Where's that money going to come from if you don't leave it? The mortgage company's still going to want their money next month. Am I right or wrong? Would it be important to make sure your kids can go to college? Let's make sure we're asking personal questions. Let's be involved in a conversation and just slow it down. Take your time. Take it easy. If you're nervous, then your customer may end up being nervous. So calm down. Slow it down, have a conversation, and don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to say, you know what, I'm not sure about that. Let me check on it. You know what, I'm not sure about that. I can find out and I can get back with you. Now, I will say this. There's nothing wrong with saying that, but write this down. Make it your business to know your business. Study. Develop your skill set. Know all the ins and the outs of your product that you're talking to the customer about. And for heaven's sake, guys, if you're going to talk to your customer about life insurance, don't you think it's important for you to have a life insurance policy as well? I don't care what type of policy you have, but you should at least have a policy because, again, if it's that important for me to have it, then why don't you have one? So learn your product. Again, make it your business to know your business. Here's the next issue. Stop sounding like a telemarketer. Telemarketers are smiling and dialing. They're just trying to make a commission. They don't know you, don't care about you, and when you answer the phone, you don't want to talk to the telemarketer most likely because you know that they are reading the script and they're just going through it. Just boom, let me just get it out here. Da-da-da-da. They don't even give you a chance to say anything. They don't even give you a chance to respond. They're doing all the talking, all the telling. Remember, telling is not selling. Please don't tell me you do that when you're speaking with the customer. When you're talking with a customer about life insurance, which is probably one of the most important insurances there is, when you're talking to them, it's got to be a back and forth. It's got to be a conversation. Team, it must be about what's important to them, not about what's important to you. Remember, nobody likes to be sold to, but we all want to buy. Remember the 3 keys. Write them down. Number 1, you must make it easy for the customer to say yes. You must make it hard for your customer to say no. And number 3, most importantly, it has to be their idea. Can't be your idea. I know you're going to give recommendations. I want you to. I know you're going to tell the customer at the end, what do you think they should do, whether it's this or whether it's that. But it doesn't start off that way. It starts off by asking the questions about what's most important to them. So telemarketers don't do that. Stop sounding like a telemarketer. Stop trying to convince your customer that they need to buy the life insurance policy and start asking them what they want. What is important to them? I talk about some mistakes that team members make about using the word need versus want. I never tell a customer what they need to do. Ever, ever, ever. No one likes being told what to do. You don't like being told what to do? Ask people that know me. I definitely don't like being told what to do. So when you tell a customer you need to get this done, you need the policy, your family needs this money, all you're doing is telling the customer what they need instead of asking what they want. Now remember, you never, ever, ever fill in the blank with a product or policy. So I'm never going to ask a customer, do you want life insurance? You know as well as I do, they're going to say no. But if you fill the blank in with the problem that you solve, that's where you get the yes. So it's not, do you want life insurance? It's, do you want to make sure your family has a roof over their head? Notice how I say that. Do you want to have a roof over their head? I'm showing my age, right? Again, I'm old school. Do you want to make sure they have a roof over their head or a house to live in? Do you want to make sure the bills are paid consistently? And then start naming the bills. Light bill, water bill, gas bill, groceries, maybe tuition. When I start asking those type of questions, it resonates with the customer because those are the things that your customers talk about every day. How do I know that? It's what I talk about every day. It's what you talk about every day. We all talk about money to do those things. So let's make sure that we're having a conversation with the customer. We're not trying to convince the customer. We're truly asking the customer what's important to them and what do they want to see happen when the day comes and they're no longer here. Here's the next problem. Your energy must match the customer. Now I can tell you guys, I struggled with this because I'm high energy. And sometimes I could be too much for a customer. So what I had to learn how to do was read the room. I had to be able to read the customer. I am more outspoken. I am more outspoken. I am more, how I want to say this? I am more direct. That's a good word. I am more direct with other men. Now, with a woman, it's not that I change my words, but I'm just more direct with another man. And I have to be careful with that when I'm speaking with a woman, when I'm speaking with someone who is older. You got to do the exact same thing. If I'm talking with another man, I'm more direct. I'm like, what are we going to do? How's your wife going to be able to pay the bills? I mean, as a father and a husband, I believe that it's my responsibility to provide for my family, whether I'm here or not here. That's why God put us here, to be able to provide for our family. What do you believe? Now, if I'm talking to a woman, it's not that the words change, but I soften it. And I'll say something like, my wife, Erin, family is so important to her. I mean, it is the number one thing that really resonates with her. And so she'll tell anybody all the time that she believes that it is her responsibility to provide for her family, whether she's here or whether she's not here. She says that over and over and over again. But again, this is your family. So you tell me, would it be important to you to make sure that your family still has a roof over their head? To make sure that your husband is not struggling to pay the bills and take care of the kids because you left them enough money? I mean, would that be important to you? Same words, different delivery. You have to match the energy of the person that you are speaking with. If you're too high, not going to work. If you're too low, not going to work. So I'm not telling you to be fake, okay? But I am telling you not to be too much, not to be too low, not to be too high. Just take cues and match the person that you are speaking with. If your customer is calm, you remain calm. If they're analytical, be more analytical. If they're more energetic, make sure that you are matching their pace. For some reason, people are, it's almost like, man, we resonated together, okay? So let's make sure that you match the customer's energy. Here's your sixth problem. You got to stop waiting for permission. Weak delivery will sound something like this. Would it maybe be okay if I explain this to you? These are permission questions you should not be asking. Would it be okay if I explain this to you? I'm not really sure about this. Hey, this might sound silly. I don't know why people say that. It might sound silly. You're destroying your credibility. You got to make sure that you're no longer asking for permission. Do you have time? That's a permission question. No, they don't have time. Would you like to discuss your life insurance needs? No. Would you like to do a life needs analysis? No. Is it okay? These are all permission questions. We talked about this in previous videos. Instead of asking for permission, you should be asking those buy-in questions, right? Not open-ended questions. Remember, a buy-in question is specifically designed to get a yes instead of a no. So I like to ask questions like, would it make sense to leave your family enough money to pay the bills? Or making sure your family had enough money to pay the bills. Would that be a smart thing to do? Or the bills still have to be paid. Am I right? Or I'm sure your family would appreciate having enough money to pay the bills. Would you agree? Or would it be important to make sure they had enough money to pay your bills? You see, these are all called buy-in questions, specifically designed to get a yes. It's called conditioning. Remember, if you have a strong opening, you don't need a strong closing. Condition your customers to do this. We call it the bobblehead. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, that makes sense. Oh, no, the bills still have to be paid. Okay, so pick a couple of buy-in questions. You don't have to use them all, but pick a couple of buy-in questions that you can start to use. Remember, the script is not the problem. It's your delivery of the script that the problem is the reason you're having that problem. All right, so make sure we have a strong delivery. We don't have a weak delivery, and for goodness sake, please stop asking for permission. Here's the seventh issue or the seventh problem that you're having. You got to start to use emotion. You're going to hear me say it over and over again, right? 82% of people buy things based on emotion, not logic. That's not me. That is a Harvard University study that showed that. That means 8 out of 10 people you talk to on the phone, 8 out of 10 people that may come into the office to meet with you, they're not going to buy from you based on logical decisions. I know we should be making decisions based on logic, but you and I both know we make decisions a lot of times based on our emotion. Your customers know different. So louder doesn't mean stronger. Emotion is. When you talk about providing for the family, like what you just heard me do, slow it down, lower your voice. People think in pictures. Use their name. So in other words, when I'm talking to someone about a spouse, I want to know what's your spouse's name. I'm going to use Aaron. I'm going to use Steve. I want to know what your kids' names are. I want to call them by name. I'm going to say Judah. I'm going to say Josiah. Why? Because people think in pictures. When I say Judah, when I say Josiah, it's going to make you think about your children. People don't remember the loudest person. They remember the one who made them feel something. I believe it was Maya Angelou, if I'm not mistaken, who simply said, people will forget what you did. They may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So when you're speaking with the customer, draw on the emotion. Make them feel something. We got to be able to take life insurance sales, guys, from being a transactional sale to being an emotional sale. And the way you can do that, slow it down, paint a picture so that people can see the consequences and the rewards for leaving their family this money. The consequence, if you don't leave the money, they could lose the house. The reward, if you leave the money, they could pay the house off. They never have the stress to make another mortgage payment again. The house can stay in the family from generation to generation. Why? Because you did the right thing. How does that make you feel? The next problem. Ask questions like you actually care. No one wants to talk to or deal with a slick salesperson. I would venture to say, I don't know this, but I would venture to say that if you truly don't care about somebody, then you probably shouldn't be in sales. And I know there are a lot of people out there that could care less, right? That's not how I do. My whole mindset is I'm not trying to truly get something from you. I'm trying to get something to you. What am I trying to get to you? I'm trying to get you to truly understand how important it is for your family to be able to have this money if you're not here. I mean, I'm truly trying to get you to understand the life that your children are going to have if you don't leave them the money. I want you to notice how I keep talking about the money, not a life insurance policy. We've been over this, right? Steve, how do you sell so much life insurance? Because I don't sell life insurance. I solved the customer's problem. And most of your customers, I would venture to say 99% of them have a problem that they need solved. How many people out there, especially younger people in their 30s, their 40s, 50s, whatever, have a mortgage? Everybody has bills. So you can help solve that customer's problem by trying to be able to get this money to them through a life insurance policy. But in order to do that, you got to be able to care. Write this down. This is important. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You can explain a life insurance policy inside out, upside down. You can explain a life insurance policy from a 10 pay, a 20 pay, a 15 pay, a 10-year term, 20-year term, 30-year term, return of premium term, universal life, IULs. You can go through every single type of life insurance policy. But if that customer does not believe that you truly care about them and their well-being and their family, they are not going to buy from you. People do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. So for goodness sake, please start asking questions like you truly care for the customer. Always put the customer first. There's a good chance if you put the customer first, there's a good chance the customer will come back. Slow it down. Don't race to the next question. Listen, respond, and don't be afraid to disagree. Respectfully, I walk through a customer's, what's their thinking, their plan. I'll walk a customer through their plan all the time. Oh, if I die, they can just sell the house. Really? So let me get this straight. The person died, you die, they can sell the house. So you die, and their first call is to a realtor. Is that it? Well, you said they can sell the house, so I'm presuming they're going to get a realtor, right? And do houses sell like that, or do houses kind of take a while to sell? If it sells just like that, that means they got to probably sell it real quick, maybe like a fire sale. So they're not going to even get the money they're supposed to get with it. I got it. And if they sell the house, where are they going to live now? They just sold the only asset that maybe they had. So where are they going to live? You see, I'm walking the customer through their thinking. I'm disagreeing with the customer, but I'm doing it respectfully. For somebody to say they can sell the house, they can sell the investments, you're not thinking through that. So I'll walk them through it, and then I simply say this. Now listen, do you want them to sell the house? You want them calling realtors? You want them being taken advantage of? You want them trying to figure out where they're going to live? Or what if my agent John just paid off the house? What if my agent John just simply gave your family a check for $1 million? That way they can pay the house off, have a place to live in, and never had to worry about another mortgage payment again. You tell me what makes more sense to you. So I'm still disagreeing with my customer, but I'm doing it in a respectful way so they truly understand that the plan they have may not be the smartest plan after all. Don't check boxes. I've been in appointments before where I felt like just another number, where the person I was speaking with was just checking boxes. What is it? What about this and that? And do you have it? It's like, man, I'm just another number. They didn't care nothing about me or my family or what was important to me. All they were doing is checking boxes. Don't do that. 3%ers, please do not do that. Be curious about them. Be curious about their plans. Be curious about what's important to them. When you're curious, it builds trust. A really good question you should be asking your customers is this. You ready? Really? Tell me more about that. Or no kidding. How did you get into that? Be curious about the customer, their wants, their desires, their fears, and be genuinely interested and to be able to help them with every issues or fears they may have. Remember, it's a conversation. It is not an interrogation. In an interrogation, you ask question. I was in law enforcement for 10 years. When we're interrogating suspects, we care nothing about the suspect. Nothing. We're just interrogating the customer or the suspect. But I see a lot of team members do that with customers as well. So when you hear me say ask questions, I do. I want you to ask questions, but it should never sound like an interrogation. It should be a conversation. Here's the next problem. You're not practicing out loud. You have to practice out loud. I know it may sound crazy. You're thinking like, what? I got to practice my script? Yep. You got to practice your script, and you got to practice it out loud. Preferably, I would like for you to practice it in the mirror first. I know that sounds crazy. I like for when you record it, because I record it myself as well, and then use it with individuals that you know, and then practice it with individuals you may not know. So when I would practice to myself first. I would get my script, I would read it, voice inflectuation, and I would read it to myself. And then I would get to the point where I'm doing it in the mirror where I'm not even making any mistakes. I'm doing it. And then I would get with my wife. She was one of the people that helped me get to be one of the top producers in the whole state of Florida. And I would say, hey, listen, I got a script I want to use. I want you to pretend like you are a customer or a prospect. And I want you to give me some objections, just what you think like a prospect would say. And let's see how I can respond to those. So I would do it with my wife. And then I started doing it with friends. And then watch this. This is a key. I did a lot of networking. And so what I would do is I would get with somebody who I was networking with. They had a totally different business. And I would be honest or vulnerable with them. And I would say something like, listen, I'm brand new at life insurance sales and I need your help. And by your help, I mean I need your honest opinion. Well, what do you need? Okay, perfect. So I want you to pretend like you're a prospect looking for life insurance. And I just want us to have a conversation. I want you to be yourself. And if an objection comes up, tell me what the objection is. But if I'm making sense and it's something that, that you would really want to pursue further, then tell me that as well. But I need your help. I got to get this down because right now I'm kind of struggling. Would you be willing to help me? And everybody, if you use those words, help or favor, I need your help. Would you help me? Yes. Hey, I need a favor. I need a huge favor. Would you mind doing me a favor? Sure, I'll do you a favor. So I would have that conversation with them, and guess what would happen? At the end of it, they'd be like, man, maybe I should look into getting some more life insurance. Really? I'm telling you, you got to practice and then put it into place. There are people around you that need your help, and they're willing to help you at the same time as well. So record yourself, listen to yourself, fix your tone, fix your pace, fix your face, fix your confidence. You got to make sure that you continue to practice over and over and over again. Here's the ninth problem with you and your script. Your delivery comes from identity. Your delivery comes from identity. So here's what I'm talking about. The best salespeople, the 3%ers, we don't act confident, we are confident. That's our identity. That's our identity. And I already told you how to become confident. You got to do it over and over and over again. Please don't look at me. Don't look at other elite performers, other top 3%ers, and feel like there's something they've always been that way. Nope. We just refuse to give up. We refuse to lay down. We refuse to quit. We're going to continue to work, continue to scrimmage, continue to role play, continue to develop our skill set while other people are sleeping. That's our identity. We want to be the best that we can be to be able to serve the people in our community. That's my identity. I've done the work. I've practiced. I have failed more times than you can imagine, over and over and over again. And the reason that I'm so successful is because I'm willing to double my failure rate when most people don't want to fail at all. When your identity changes, guys, your delivery changes. I am confident, not cocky. I'm as humble as I can be before God, but I am confident in what I know. I am confident in what I can do. You think this is bragging. You think this is cockiness when I say, when it comes to face-to-face, I call it in the trenches. When it comes to face-to-face in the trenches training, me and you, I don't believe there's anybody out there that's a better sales trainer for life insurance than myself. I just don't. I'm talking about one-on-one, me and you. I can train you how to sell life insurance. I can tell you exactly what to do. I can tell you exactly what not to do. I can tell you why this is working. I can tell you why this is not working. I can listen to your conversation that you're having with a customer, and I can immediately hear how you can improve that to be able to close that sale. And I don't believe there's anybody else in our industry that can do it the way that I can do it. I just don't. Now, you may say that's cocky. That's pretty confident. I know it. So that's my identity. So when I'm speaking with the customer, my success comes from my identity. So develop your skill set because you can have the same identity. Here I am 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I didn't have this confidence. 11 years ago, I had no idea what I was doing. 11 years ago, I almost quit. 11 years ago, zero confidence. I can't do this. I'm out, John. I quit. I got to go find something else to do. I'm going to stick to this, whatever I was doing before. So you can develop that confidence, develop that skill set over the years. You know what? I think I'm going to do a talk on new team members. Yeah. I'm taking notes here. I'm going to do a talk on I'm going to do a whole episode. I don't know, maybe next episode, maybe the episode after this. But I'm going to do a talk on being a brand new team member and maybe some of the things that a brand new team member should be focusing on. All right. So stop sounding like you're trying to make a sale and start sounding like you're truly trying to solve the customer's problem. Again, it ain't the script, guys. It's your delivery. So here's what I want you to do. Take your favorite script. Record yourself using it. Ask yourself, would I buy for me? When you do this with your spouse, a friend, a family member, even somebody in your networking group, ask the same thing. And they got to be honest with you. Ask for candid feedback. If this was real, would you buy it for me? What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? How did I make you feel as I was asking those type of questions? All right. So when you're doing your script, don't change the script. Change the salesperson that's delivering the script. Make sure that you have your identity. Mediocre salespeople are always looking for a different script. 3%ers, we just become better communicators. That's what I mean when I say it's not necessarily your script, it's how you're delivering your script. And when you become better, please, it don't matter about the script. Every script begins to work. All right? Okay, 3%ers, that has been your mindset shift for the week. Now you know what you have to do. You got to go get to work or get off my podcast. Hoorah.
We the 3%ers. Yeah. We the 3%ers. Yeah. You gotta know what your word. Don't need more than just words. We don't just talk it, we live it. You want it, go get it and put in that word.